Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here on March 11th, 2026. I was going to say 2025, but I caught myself. 2026.
Animal, can we get back to the show? I mean, we're having a real time.
We've been asking and
Animal,
asking.
can you take control here, please?
Yeah, I'd
really,
like
Al,
to.
enlighten
I'd like
us.
to. Okay. Don't ask senior candidates to take less vacation. You're reducing the quality of life they have earned over a course of many years. You're asking them to work for free for a few weeks a year. It's a deal breaker. Is that
Not really.
any you
They didn't
guys?
hurt it for you. They didn't hurt it for you, that company. That was the last company's deal. Don't leave the last company then.
And also, you know how many of my candidates got the vacation? They still never take it all.
Exactly.
It's it's not a vacation issue. It's a money issue.
Well, no, there are people that think if I take all my vacation, they're going to realize they don't need me.
Right. Well, that too. Well, that too. But what I'm saying is, if you're getting 2 weeks vacation, there's a monetary value for that. If you're currently making 4, if you drop down, you're thinking I'm monetarily losing a little bit of that.
Okay, so you guys are saying if you're moving a candidate from one company to another and the new employer wants to give considerably less vacation to a senior...
Well, you didn't say considerably. You just added that piece to it.
Yeah, you did.
From 20 weeks to 1.
It said okay, well, then how much is you? So you guys are saying it. I heard you say it's not an issue.
It depends on
to
the
take less
person. It
vacation.
depends on the situation. If they're getting 4 weeks now and the new job is 3 weeks, but it pays more and it's a better opportunity, fine. But if you're talking about we give 2 weeks no matter what, and Rich is sitting here at a bank with 6 weeks, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And
Then
also, why are you using
got to decide where he wants to go?
Yeah, I mean,
How are you using vacation? Like oftentimes I talk to candidates who have, say, 3 or 4 weeks and they're moving to my client only gives 2, is I'll say, okay, so you take a week to go skiing in Breckenridge, a week to go surfing in Hawaii, and then you use the other week or 2 for the Friday off here and the Monday off there. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Fine. We'll have a talk with your manager. You'll have the 2 weeks, but if you need the Friday off here and the Monday off there, you're an adult. No one's going to dock your time, and we'll do a gentleman's handshake that you can do that since we can't transfer you to 4 weeks. I've done that 100 fucking times with one of my biggest clients, and they do it every single time without a question.
Hey, Tommy.
Yep.
You've done it 100 fucking times. Have you done it also just 100 times?
Yes.
it wasn't as much fun though.
I know. I just wanted to check.
No, hold
And
on.
so-
How solid are gentlemen's agreements that you shake hands on before you take the job, and then you're in there and you say, I'm not coming in on Friday? I mean, what's going to happen?
You know, in a lot of these
Yeah.
jobs, though, you're working like weekends and shit like that, and if your boss doesn't recognize that and can't make accommodations for that, then it ain't the place for you.
Yeah, but when you're going in, you don't want to leave as soon as you get there, okay? You have to know what the situation is before you join.
Well, you
And
don't
I'm
know
wondering-
what the situation is for anything until you join.
Okay, fine.
They lie to
While we
you.
were, hey, Animal, while we were sitting here, I took the GPT or agent that I have in TypeMind and transferred it to a gem and ran side-by-side comparisons on my interview summary gem versus my interview summary GPT/agent. And the stuff that Gemini put out is good. It's a little fluffy, but it does a great job. And I ran 3-1 in TypeMind versus 3-1 in Gemini. So yeah, and that's all it is. If you want to, want me to show it to you?
No,
Okay.
I want to have the
So
show about something else.
All the gem is a GPT. That's all it is.
Okay, next question.
Yeah. Okay. The next question, Tom commented on Facebook, and it's related to what we just discussed. Okay. In the United States, you've got these at-will states where they can fire you, just say, go home. It's over. No 2-week notice or anything like that. Right. And so I don't know who said it, but if the employer can fire you without notice, you're not obligated to give notice to them. Okay. I say that doesn't make any difference. It still makes you look bad when you're going out for a job, if for a future employer, if you left in the middle of some big project without notice at your last company. Don't you guys agree with that?
It depends.
Well, give me it depend. I want Tom because he was so virulent about it. He says if they don't give me any notice, I don't have to give them any notice.
You know, Tom's been drinking. I think you should stop. Don't.
No, he's obsessed. He's got an addiction with this tech, AI tech. He can't even look at us.
My take on that is just in general, right? We all feel like I have a candidate wants to give 4 weeks notice, right? And my response to that is, Nixon resigned with 2 weeks notice, and I'm sure he had a lot more going on than you do, right? So at the end of the day, companies will fire people, lay off 500 people 3 days before Christmas, won't consider anything, and then freak out when someone quits and doesn't give them 2 weeks notice. It's a double standard. And yes, should you leave in the middle of a fucking high-end project where you're leaving not only your company but your client in the toilet? That's a different conversation than someone just like everything is copacetic and they just leave and say, "No, I'm not giving you 2 weeks. My last day's Friday," when they put their notice in on Monday.
But then there's also that middle part where you say, "Hey, I want to be nice. I'm going to give them 2 weeks notice," and then you go ahead and give your 2 weeks notice and say, "Why don't you just leave now?"
Exactly.
Well, that's okay.
And
Why
so,
is that
you know,
okay?
like-
Why is that okay, Animal?
What do you
I mean,
mean?
you're trying.
It's no problem
Why is
for
that
it because
okay?
you're free then to join your new company.
No, but why is it okay? If I actually had planned not to start for 2 weeks,
I
in that
agree.
company,
There's a double standard, but
thank
I
you.
think
That's all I
it's a
wanted you to
fool-
say. We're good.
No, it's
You
a
know, but
fool
the whole
who-
thing is people.
let
people
me
say,
get in here.
No,
It's my
no. Let me
show.
finish this. People have kind of assumed that you're required to give a 2 week notice. Why that happened, I have no idea. But I think the company has put that in people's heads.
Oh, you don't leave them in the lurch. Okay, that's why.
But you're fired today.
No,
You
but
know.
they used
Exactly.
to have severance
Yeah.
pay too. Isn't there a lot of
They,
companies that have
they
severance?
don't give you.
No
They
law.
can
right?
fire you. They'll find a reason to give you costs, and they won't give you severance.
Mhm.
Exactly.
I mean, the
Yeah,
thing
so
that
you
blows
know,
me
even
away.
look, even if the company you're leaving is, let's just like the same as with a bad boss. You don't go to your new employer and say, "I want to leave because my current boss is a maniac." Okay, they don't like to hear that. So they don't like
Yeah,
to hear that you're willing to leave a company in the middle of nowhere. Okay,
But
in
you
the
also have
lurch.
a situation where you're a great worker. You've given your loyalty to the company. A new guy comes in because you're great boss.
It's
has decided to
irrelevant.
get some-
Okay, I
No,
understand.
no,
You
that's
won
not
that
relevant.
point.
You gotta calm down. And then it gets to the point where the new boss comes in and says, I'm bringing in my old crew, so you're out of here. So where in the fuck's the loyalty there?
There's no loyalty there. That's irrelevant. That's all I'm saying.
So then
okay?
it goes back to what you were saying. There's no loyalty anywhere.
Oh no, that's
But
exactly
we have
the
to hold
opposite of what I
candidates to a
said.
higher standard. We're supposed to hold
No, but
candidates
you-
to a higher standard, and we don't. And the companies can do whatever the fuck they want.
That's how it is. You can't tell them the truth. Nobody says.
And
Nobody
said,
says to tell the truth. Don't go to your new employer at an interview for an interview and say that I hate my boss. That's why I want to leave. Nobody says you should be honest about that. Let's canvass
I agree.
everybody.
Well,
Okay.
you can't go to badmouth your last company because then they're going to badmouth your company when you leave. So just bad.
That's the exact same. It's the exact
It's
same
not.
thing. Okay.
It's bad business to do it. If it's same or not. Even though everyone knows you leave a company because most people leave because they don't like their boss. That's 90% of the time people are leaving. The guy's a schmuck. The company's mismanaged. Whatever. But you can't say it because they know they're probably just as bad, and you're going to leave them, and then you're going to tell the next guy, "Oh, this company was crazy. They were, why would you want to hire the guy that's going to say that?"
So what you end up saying is financial problems with the company, and that's why I'm looking here. Or the other part is we got downsized. You might have been the only guy that got downsized, but there was a whole group of us that got downsized, and nobody ever follows up on that stuff. So then you go, it's like question asked, question answered, move on. That's it.
Anybody else who want to disagree with me? Okay. Even Rich, who acknowledges one thing. Rich, let's come back to you then.
Rich is
okay?
always loyal, though. Rich is always loyal. Like Crelate, he's loyal to Crelate. He ain't gonna
Well,
change.
not anymore. Okay. They stabbed him in the back. Okay. And
No,
this is the
he's
same
beating
kind
him.
of issue. If your employer stabs you in the back and, that's not right, but you can't dump them either. Okay. You can't go to your new place of business for an interview and say, I can start tomorrow. I'll leave these guys. I don't care about them. You can't do that for the same reason you can't say, I want to leave because I hate my boss. It's the same. It's the exact same. Anybody want to challenge me on that before we move on? No.
I don't know. You lost me. It's just,
What's wrong? No, I know. Come on. These guys are all. They can't listen to me anymore. They're looking at their
What I
screens all
find,
the time.
what I find funny is when a company has an at will and they get rid of people here and there with no warning, with no heads up.
You know
But
what
then
would
when
be-
somebody leaves them without warning,
What-
they blow a gasket and clutch their pearls. Oh my God, Rich
you
Gang!
know,
No,
at the very beginning, you should ask, that says at will, you should ask, hey, do I have to give a 2-week notice?
yeah,
See what they
that goes over well. Can you imagine? I mean, you could do a TikTok on it if you actually interviewed honestly. If the company, both sides interviewed honestly. I mean, this is the problem. Both the candidate and the client lie, and then they're like shocked when it doesn't work out.
it's the game they play that's just fucking ridiculous.
It is, because if the candidates goes there and asks honest questions, I just had this happen this week. They go and ask real questions about what's the product like, what's the gaps in the product, what's the holes in this, why aren't everyone hitting numbers? They're like, oh, this guy is going to be trouble. He's too negative. He doesn't really. I'm like, no, he's asking real fucking questions.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry you don't like the tone of the question, but it's good stuff for someone to know who's leaving a company to join your risky startup. In my case, I mean, you're not like you're going to Microsoft. These startups are.
Well, and these days, what does that matter? You work at Block, and all of a sudden,
I mean, that's the thing. The amount of times I have this conversation where people think that they're going to a big company and that's suddenly safer than going to a startup is complete horseshit.
I
Yeah,
love what
funny,
Rich
Rich.
is saying now. Okay, I love he's 100% right, even though he
Thanks.
doesn't see the parallel with what I just was
No, it's
talking about.
different.
Yeah, I don't
It's
think you saw the
different.
parallel.
I didn't
I
see the
want to ask a
parallel.
question. No, I want to ask a question. Let me get follow up.
Animal,
Okay.
can you ask a question?
Yeah, thanks. When you got a client and someone's going in who is an astute candidate, can you say, look, can you prep your client? This person's going to ask you a lot of questions about your business. I don't want you to feel intimidated by that. It's good if he investigates. Can you tell them that? Can you
Not
advise?
those
you do.
words.
Yeah, I mean, I prep my client and be like, listen, this guy's gonna have a lot of questions. He's gonna need to be sold. He's gonna want to understand the whys. The why he should risk making a change to jump to another early stage company. And if it's going to offend you, it's going to be a problem. So but most of them will say, okay, I get it, and then they get in there, and then afterwards they kind of forget it, and they're like, oh, this guy I didn't like his attitude. I think he was too nervous. He's not ready to move. I'm like, no, he just has legitimate questions that everyone should be asking, and they're too afraid to do it. This guy's got some onions, so he did it, which you should do.
Yeah.
It's instead of embracing it, they get nervous by it.
And that tells you a lot about the manager and the company.
100%. It's a good article to write about. Thank you.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
Hey, give me a shot on these fucking
I
things,
know.
Rosen.
But it is. I got to find the market right now. I don't know what you guys are seeing. The market right now, I just think is such a mess. Like so much, weak. It's always weak leadership. It just seems extra weak right now. Weak leadership. People can't make decisions. They're afraid of the remote pushback of questioning, their beloved company.
Yeah.
Which if I called them with a better opportunity, they'd be out the door also in a day. It's really getting to be a epidemic, in my opinion.
You don't think
Beyond that.
people were always as stupid as they are now and
It's not
vain
that.
and sensitive?
No, they weren't. You know what it reminds me of? And this is going to sound stupid. It reminds me of the old high school dances. And like Rich would go right up to somebody straight on and ask him to dance. I would go from the side, pay attention, tap him on the shoulder. I'd get a yes, I'd get a no, whatever, but I'd move on. Now nobody's even asking them to dance. And you want to go up on stage and you're going, I'm going to tell you guys how to do this. Here's what you do. You walk up to the girl, you say, hi, my name's Alan. Would you like to dance the next dance? And if they say yes, say great. And you stand there, you dance. If she says no, say thanks. Have a good night. Go try the next one.
You
And they
left
will
out a
not
step.
do it.
You left out a step. You told us last time you used this analogy, you said you would stand at the side of the room and watch the girl to
I would
see
do
if
that
she was
too.
to see if she was
you-
crazy.
Tommy would stand at the girls' room at 12 o'clock at night.
Here, I think I was a recruiter in high school. So a buddy of mine wanted to go to the dance with one of the cheerleaders from our sister school. He would never ask her. I see her on campus walking. I'm like, hey, Lisa, hey, Rich really likes you. Do you know Rich? Oh, yeah, I know Rich. He's a nice guy. Great. He'd like to go to the dance with you. We're not allowed to because, but I'll dance with him. I'm happy to. I said, great. We go to the dance. What does Rich do in the group? He sits there with us, never asks her to dance. And I said, if you don't ask her, that I'm going to ask her the next day. She goes, you're not going to do that. It's my day. I'm like, what date? You're sitting on your ass here. I got you the date. So the next song, they quit. And I go, get up, get up. He doesn't get up. I go over there, and Rich, you're going to love this. What did they start? Stairway to Heaven, baby.
There you go.
And he knows what that means. So,
Yeah, really? Okay, so
anyway,
isn't that a famous story with Miles Sanders?
but the point is, Pete,
When
Rich
you
is
did
right.
this, were you loaded when
you
you did this?
What?
Were you loaded when you did this? Or-
No, I was a junior. But no, what it is, Animal, is this is where recruiters are so much more important these days and needed, because we need to help cut through the bullshit. We need to help coach these weak leaders and these, let's be honest, tentative candidates, because the market is so screwed up.
Yeah, but the problem is the weak leaders don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I mean, and the strong ones, the strong-willed ones are just like, fuck you. Who are you to tell me what to do?
I've never heard Tom say his clients are wimps who can't take any questioning. Is
He's
that
smart
Tom
enough not to.
They want mouthy people. Tom, are you awake or are you obsessed
I'm
with?
awake. Yeah, I'm awake.
No,
What's
it's
up?
okay. I can just say do not disturb on your computer, so I can see it. Right? Yeah, look at his eyes there, looking at everybody.
I'm multitasking. What was the question? I apologize.
It's okay.
Very nice.
We're calling you, okay? But no. Rich said his clients are wimps, and if a candidate goes in with good questions about the company, they feel intimidated and threatened, and they don't want to hire somebody they think is not going to be submissive or want a part of the team. You don't find that, do you?
No.
Okay, that's enough. You go back to your stuff. Okay, I don't
Thank
want to. I don't want to. Anybody else want to talk about that?
It really pisses me off when you bother him.
Okay, I won't bother him anymore. Okay, here's a rich statement. David M.R., you could get in on that if you want. Okay, I don't want to bug you. I know you're up in heaven. I guess Tom was up there looking at you. Okay. Rich says good recruiters know that most star players are being taken for granted by their managers, so they are open to temptation of another job. Richie, David, go ahead.
Right now is 100% the A players have their ear to the ground. Even the established stable companies, unless somebody's been in a role for a long time, hasn't transitioned any time since COVID. I know just about everybody you talk to, at least that I talk to, has an ear to the ground. So
yeah, but is it for the reason Rich said, that their managers are just taking them for granted?
I think that they feel that they have the bad end of the deal and that they're being exploited right now. A lot of people are underpaid, overworked because their teams have downsized, especially larger companies.
Almost missed.
And the companies are getting their money's worth. So a lot of people are not happy. They don't have the quality of the leadership is definitely not there.
What does that mean?
All managers are bad or whatnot, but the executive leadership and the management in a lot of cases are Peter Principle comes into play here. But again, this is what a lot of people are telling me.
Okay, are you specifically talking about the developer market, and Rich is talking about the
I'm
tech
talking
sales?
about people that I've talked to across tech roles,
Yeah.
and sales, even
Yeah.
HR, like across the board that I've seen.
Okay.
I think it's also the pendulum right now is swung more toward, the perceived pendulum has swung more towards the corporation side. So whether or not it's true, they think it is. They think, well, people are scared because of AI. People are scared because of these layoffs happening. So we can pay less benefits, squeeze them more, make them work longer. And what's happening is this quiet hiring thing. That's why most people are open, because there's a lot of companies that have slid into that poor leadership arena.
Rich, this came from you. Do you have a comment? Are sales managers taking good people for granted, so you can just assume that they're ready to go?
I think a lot of managers are taking good people for granted. I think a lot of companies in general just take people for granted.
Why? Just that's
Why?
the way life
Because-
is.
Yeah, because you know what? Instead of actually doing something very simple and cheap to keep them, they let them walk half the time. And
Example. What's
Well, I mean, like-
simple and cheap?
you throw them $300 to take their wife out for dinner for having a tough week or a great week. You know, something minimal. Instead, you're going to piss the guy off, and that's been a generally good producer. But hey, it's all about what have you done for me lately. It's all about the numbers in terms of, hey, I've got a deal that's going to close in December. Oh shit, it slipped till January. Now it's next year's deal, so my number's not going to look good for Q4. So now they fire the guy. You know, but the
Okay.
company's going to keep that deal, and some other rep's going to steal that commission from this guy. You know,
Any-
people just don't. The managers don't stand up to support their people.
And
So
how
what-
can you get
what-
a handle on that before the person goes into the company?
You can't.
Before you
I mean, you can only talk. You can talk to reps. You can talk to people that have left. But I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to trust the people you're working for. Or you don't go work for them.
Rich, how do you handle it when you have your territory, you're kicking ass, and then they say, now we're going to divide up your territory, and I'm going to give you these. I'm going to give these accounts to my son here, and you have the rest.
Yeah,
How do you handle that?
you can't. I mean, that's why you leave.
But that's a reality. That's a reality of what happens, right?
Big time. Yeah, it's a big time reality. I mean, it's
Or
unfortunate.
you build the territory back up and show them that you're a badass, like I've seen a lot of sales guys do. When the territory gets cut in half, they just meet their quota the next year and blow it away, and the company doesn't know what to do. I had a company, Macquarie Metal, I don't work with anymore, that when somebody would get too big, they cut it in half, and this one sales rep in Minnesota just kept making his quota. He was making like 300 grand, and they got mad because he was making more than the VP of sales. That was their excuse.
Why do they do that though? I mean, it's like the stupidest thing ever.
Because they're tripping over dollars to pick up dimes.
Yeah, I
is
mean,
why.
well, that's Oracle's one. Oracle's a prime example. They every year, every June, they basically reorganize the territories. They say, "Fuck you" to the customer. You're going to meet your new sales rep. New sales rep's like, "Oh, great! I got a deal. It's about to fall in my lap because the guy that was just about to close it just lost that account." And you hope that rep who lost that account got another account he can take over. It's a ridiculous process. No one seems to understand.
Why wouldn't you want every one of your sales guys to be making $1 million a year? Because that means you're making $2 million off a sales guy. I don't get that.
It makes no sense whatsoever. I find it ridiculously stupid and frustrating. But I hear it all the time. I mean, there's big companies, small companies. It makes no.
Metal sales was like that. It's like, oh, we can't be paying sales guys that much. He sold $10 million.
Yeah,
Of course, pay him the $1 million commission.
because you know what happens? They're either CFO run companies, which means it's all about the dollars, or it's an engineer run company. It's like there's no way a sales guy should make more money than an engineer, and it's ego and pure stupidity. And honestly, I kind of shame on the board. The board's so involved in some companies, and like, where are they? Like, why did you lose your top producer? Like, I mean, if I'm the top producer, I could tell you, I'd be calling that board up and be like, "Hey, where else you got for me? Because I'm leaving this dump, and you should probably be wondering what's going on with the executive."
A great counterexample is Garland Industries out of Ohio. They have sales reps that make well over $1 million a year, and they also have a ESOP plan that they give anywhere from 5 to 10% of your salary in shares. And then that ESOP's been growing every year. They have sales guys that have been with them for 20 years that are making like 800-900 grand. Plus they have $10 million in ESOP. And their motto is basically, sales is what drives our business. Let them make as much as they want, because if they're at our margins, whatever they're making, we're making 1.5 times that or 2 times that or whatever it is.
Yeah,
It's insane.
It's the constant stupidity we keep talking about at leadership. It's such a short-sighted view of the world, and it's all about what have you done for me lately.
Yeah, Rich, wouldn't you love to have 10 recruiters working for you who are billing $5 million each?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, and you wouldn't take their accounts away from them.
Exactly.
I mean,
You do everything in your power to help them build more.
but just think about it. It's like, well, you take the account away. It's like, now you didn't just piss off your rep, you pissed off your client, which now makes them susceptible to leave you. Like, why would you do that? Why do they want to go explain their pains again to someone else? It's really, I find it super frustrating. I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry we got sidetracked on this animal, but that's one that just drives me insane, because I've had clients that did that. And I'm like, why would I find you a rock star sales rep so you can, drive him away in 3 years?
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's
So how do you separate the companies that do that from the companies that don't do that?
I mean, you
How do
either,
you identify them?
well, you either know about it. Like I know Oracle does this, so I choose not to work with Oracle, and I don't want to work with big companies. But I mean, the end of the day is, again, it's impossible to know everything when you're walking into a deal. You can ask 1,000 questions, but there's still going to be something you didn't ask, in my opinion. And because eventually the client's going to be like, dude, either you're going to work on this or not. Do you want the search? You can only ask so much. And then, before you get in, you start, as you start the search though, and you uncover more and more information, then you determine, hey, is this thing worth it or not? And oftentimes it's not, it's just that, that simple. There's no, I mean, again, you got to have your set of list of questions that you want to, what the fuck, God, dude.
I don't think it's Tommy. I don't think it's sidetrack. And I think what Rich said is very profound. You can't, just like the candidate can't go in and challenge them too much. They'll get nervous. The recruiter can't do the intake session and ask too many questions. Got to reel them in and then decide later on if you have to throw them back or not. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I mean, it is, because listen, you can only ask so much, and eventually you're going to piss off the client, and it's just like, you lost it before you even got started. You might as well, test the water, see what it's like. Like I got a new client today. Just sent out a bunch of couple candidates today. Some of it was just a trial and error, see what this guy was really about, because he's kind of a dry dude. Is this guy going to be client that's actually going to get candidates excited, or is he going to be a guy that's just going to turn everyone off because he demands so much from a seed round company? So, that's what you test for. But I mean, you get as much as you can, you make your decision, and then you keep testing, so.
On that,
And you find companies that say to you, we have an uncapped commission plan. I have several clients that have uncapped commission.
Oh yeah,
I mean, not care how much they make.
Yeah, I mean, I don't work on anything that's not capped. Anything that's capped, I won't work on. It's an immediate turn off.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't know why a rep would ever want to work. And why,
But
I don't know why you want to
sales
fire a rep.
So when they say that,
so
when they say that, do you split territories?
No, because they're going to split territories. That's just like it's going to happen.
I mean, I do ask, like, so I said this the other day, and I was just confirming because one of my clients did change commissions, and they lost like 3 reps, and they went back and rechanged it. Right. Yeah. Because of COVID, they had a couple guys that made like $1.3 million, and the profit sharing was 38%. So they had to pay out $380,000 in profit sharing. And the higher ups who watched the numbers got all freaked out about it, and they changed commissions, lost 3 or 4 really good guys, and they changed it back. And I said, is anything else? I mean, you're splitting. Can a guy come in and sell 20 million in this territory and make $400,000 to $500,000? And they said, absolutely. We don't cut territories anymore. We don't do anything. It's the old commission plan.
Bullshit.
We won't.
That's total bullshit, because everyone, as they grow, they're going to cut territory. Unless they're just have a very small ICP. They're
very small. They do. It's a very small ICP, because this territory is half of South Carolina and Augusta, Georgia. That's it.
Right,
how are you going to fucking cut that?
yeah, that's different. Like, those aren't getting cut, but they should be.
I don't work with startups, so these are like established territories. Now, I will say, if some guy's selling $20 million in one of their larger territories, like say all of Pennsylvania and half of New York, they would cut that one, because that means if one guy can sell 20 million in those areas, 2 guys could sell 40.
Yeah.
And they also look at the numbers from the MBMA website to see what the tonnage is in those areas too, when they decide to make the territories. So there's a lot of numbers that go into it based on, all the industry standards when it comes to tonnage of buildings and square footage of buildings. And they won't cut a territory if it's doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And if a guy can't cover the territory,
I got to jump on, guys. Ciao.
Okay. See ya.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's thank everybody. Okay, anybody else have an issue they have to discuss, or I think it's the end of the show. Okay, right?
Don't use OpenClaw. Don't use Claude Code. Do not cold call.
We'll leave it for you.
Time. Just send lots of emails. It's all you want to do.
Okay, thank you. Goodbye, everybody.